Welcome back to Horror Movie Madness Marathon Month. The film I'm going to be reviewing today is a bit different from the ones I've covered previously. It's called Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This movie is a surreal mockumentary about an aspiring slasher killer and is both a satirical comedy and a slasher movie in its own right. Released in 2006, it was directed by Scott Glosserman and features Angela Goethals as a journalist named Taylor and Nathan Baesel as Leslie, the killer. Taylor and her crew go to the town of GlenEcho to meet Leslie and follow him around to document his pre-killing spree preparations. Now, Leslie is a very interesting character. He claims to be the victim of a local urban legend whereby he was abused by his parents, killed them with a hand sickle, and then the townsfolk threw him off a waterfall after they found out. But he survived. Now he's back and aims to become just as famous as the slasher greats Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and Jason Voorhees. Leslie prepares for his big unveiling by selecting victims, choosing his old house as the site, and planning out every detail of how events will go down. He ensures to follow and implement all the established slasher tropes, including selecting a virginal high school girl as his survivor girl, and tormenting her prior to the big night. Throughout all this, Taylor and her two film crewmen follow him around and learn all about his processes, even participating in some. Leslie pulls out all the stops and really works hard to make everything perfect. He basically tries to create his own slasher movie in real life, which I think is where most of the comedy comes from. We can all watch a slasher movie and comment on how many things don't make sense, like, how did he survive that? How did he get over there so fast? How did this or how did that happen? Typically, most slashers don't depict how things would happen in real life. It's all movie-driven. Camera angles, loose ends, unexplained supernatural abilities, editing, and so on, but Leslie attempts to recreate all these elements in real life, and this takes tons of prep work to do so. The movie is very surreal in this way, with Taylor's group witnessing all this preparation and not really reacting to it much. I think they don't believe Leslie is serious, not until the end anyway, which may be why they seem so nonchalant about what they document, even though they willingly participate in his stalking and preliminary haunting of his chosen survivor girl. He sets up scenes right out of slasher films, staging shadowy appearances at a distance, planting fake evidence of dark family secrets, and outright killing people loosely important to his target victim. It's pretty dark when you think about it, but it's also hilarious hearing him talk about how CGI and theatrics are important for the whole setup. It's like he's trying to direct his own movie in real life. The film takes place in an alternate world where the famous slashers actually existed in real life, and Leslie feels like it's his calling to emulate their work. He has a mentor that did the same, and it's really odd to hear them talk about their mission. They all act like pretty normal, likable people, but happen to be in the business of mass murdering. They get all excited when a man named Dr. Halloran, played by the Robert Englund, shows up to fight Leslie, calling him his Ahab. He's basically the Van Helsing or Dr. Loomis to Leslie's Dracula or Michael Myers, and they're stoked that he's there to fill out the story. This movie is great, and I had a lot of fun watching it. It's almost like two movies in one. Most of it is filmed in a documentary style, but it transitions to a more cinematic view whenever Leslie goes to work, especially at the end. It's hilarious to think about all the prep work that he does and try to imagine Michael Myers doing all that just to make sure that everything was staged theatrically. It implements all kinds of horror tropes in a satirical way, and I think it's well done. Leslie knows the tropes, but he doesn't think they're silly or anything like that. He does his best to make sure everything is perfect and conforms. Despite the efforts of the film crew to thwart his efforts in the end, he had already planned for that, and of course, there's a twist. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend this movie. It's an entertaining and surreal film with plenty of horror elements, many of which are shown from the other side of the slasher lens. A must-see for any slasher fan. Give it a watch, and have a happy Halloween.